Just before we get started with the episode, I've got some news for you. Yes, indeed, KJ, Big News Johnson. I have news regarding Canadian independent wrestling, of course. And we are just 6 days away from hashtag locked in the Germania Club. That is in the Germania Club of Hamilton, just 6 days away from this recording. That's right, this Saturday will be the Germania Club locked in the Germania Club October 21st. Get your tickets now because the front row is sold out. General admission is $20. Kids under 12 for $10. You're going to get a steel cage main event where Greed takes on Albright for the championship gold, as well as an exclusive meet and greet with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. That's right, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart is going to be in Hamilton, Ontario, the Germania Club. You have to get your tickets and don't miss out. Don't miss out. We already have sold out front row seats. You're not going to want to miss it. But until then, on with the season finale. Let's do this. The Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode 41, and it is this, the season finale of this version of the Colossal Tussle Podcast, covering the McMenace angle, and it is I, Downtown K. Bruno, alongside the ever-present, the all-loving and powerful, the sex beast, Junkyard John.
Oh my god.
Took me weeks to come up with that. How's it going, my friend?
Junkyard John.
Junkyard John.
I like it.
How is life treating you?
Life is treating me, man. How about you? How's everything going?
Things are fine. Can't complain.
I like it.
My personal life is doing great. Had a wedding. It was good.
And when was this?
This was a week ago.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You gotta check in every now and again.
You got your wedding groove on?
I
like it.
Yeah. Going to England tomorrow, as of this recording, which is on a Monday.
Watching any wrestling while you're over there?
Probably not. Probably not. And actually, that's a good talking point. I have fallen out of love with current day professional wrestling.
Same.
All of it.
Same.
I've fallen out of love with current day professional wrestling. Nothing is tugging at my strings. This includes AEW, which breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But you feel the same?
Well, not with like AEW to me is still going pretty solid. SmackDown I'll watch what here and there, but everything else like Raw, Impact, all this other stuff, I don't know. Like there just hasn't been anything fun happening lately. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because if I believe you and I both, we watch Wrestle Talk. We go into Wrestle Talk very often, and according to the rumblings of the Wrestle Talk community, the WWE is an incredibly hot product right now.
Listen, man, maybe we're just not their main audience anymore, but I've tried watching Raw like the last three shows, and I get past like their first like little segment to begin the show. And then when they announce the actual matches, I just clock out.
You're checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just nothing on there. So again, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe someone else is tuning in and enjoying it, but
Listen, I am calling bullshit. Because it was about 3 weeks ago, these same Wrestle Talkers and the Wrestle Talk community, I love Wrestle Talk, by the way. This is not a knock on them, but the Wrestle Talk community was talking about how WWE is in such a rut right now, spinning their wheels post SummerSlam, yada, yada, yada. There's nothing for Cody. Roman hasn't been here for weeks on weeks on weeks. And now, all of a sudden, WWE is such a hot product right now. And AEW is so cold. I call bullshit, sir.
Most media just kind of like fudges the numbers to, there's not news every day, so you gotta make some stuff up every now and then.
Yes. Because we just had a Clash of Nation, a Tuesday night war, they're calling it.
Yes.
Of AEW, which was moved to Tuesday's time slot, going against NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided, WWE that is, to absolutely stack the card.
That's an understatement.
With John Cena, Paul Heyman, The Undertaker, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, The Judgment Day, among others, with maybe about 3 or 4 NXT people.
What was Cody's promo even? Because I didn't watch the show.
Neither did I.
Okay.
I only caught the glimpses and the highlights because that's all that's worth checking into. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Here is my beef. All right, is that they stack all of this as obviously direct retaliation to AEW, who they constantly claim is not competition.
Yeah.
And truthfully speaking, AEW is not competition because they're not on the same night. They're not doing the same type of wrestling. Not really. They're kind of more sports based rather than their entertainment based WWE. So they're not really competition. Furthermore, they've not got the audience that WWE alleges to have. But you stack the card with all these bunch of folks and you didn't even crack 1 million people.
Yeah,
you got 900,000 people. Cody Rhodes was general manager for the night.
Oh, that's what they had him doing?
Mm-hmm. And they had him announcing the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, whatever.
Of course.
Right? And he was making matches and yada, yada, yada. Then you had John Cena that was in the corner for 1.5 minutes with Carmelo. You had The Undertaker bury Braun Breaker. Well, not bury Braun Breaker, but give him a chokeslam with absolutely no comeuppance whatsoever. On behalf of Braun Breaker, kind of a useless segment. You have Paul Heyman there for whatever reason. There's really nothing to it.
There's no bloodline members.
No bloodlines. No. Although there was some sort of tease with some woman. I guess she's connected to the bloodline in some way, shape, or form.
You mean The Rock's daughter?
Sure. If that's who she is, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, then, yeah, he was talking to her. And then, yeah, nothing of any major consequence at all. Yeah. And doesn't even crack 1 million. It gets close, 900,000, nothing to shake a stick at. But what does that do in translation to NXT? What does that do for the people that were there? Because those 400,000 extra people are not going to be there next week.
Yeah, because even if you do have the argument that like, oh, it brought more attention to NXT, but the thing is that the people that they brought are not regulars in NXT. So if you tune in next week when the war is done and you watch the product, it's going to be a completely different product.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you got the extra viewers, but how many of them are actually going to stick around after they see that, none of the guys that were there that one night are going to come back.
And nobody gets a rub. I based on the highlights that I seen, nobody got a rub of any sort. Just because you're standing next to somebody doesn't mean that you're getting anything out of it.
And again, about that whole John Cena situation, the person that he was with, Carmelo, they're saying that he's going to get called up soon. So that doesn't even work because the guy that you're helping out is going to be gone in like the next couple months.
Exactly.
So
And like very, very meaningless and very, very shallow. And
and
just
obvious.
Yes. And it just kind of stamps the statement to me that it's like you have zero trust in the people that you have down there already, that you have to load up a card.
Yeah.
Because if AEW is this alleged cold product that everybody's talking about and it was moved to Tuesdays or whatever the fuck, then you shouldn't really have to worry, should you?
Yeah.
You should just be able to put on a regular ass show with your regular ass stars, quote unquote, and you should be able to do in the ratings just fine. But no, you can't, because WWE, and I'm going to say this very clearly for the people in the back, WWE fucking sucks. And I'm tired of listening to people being like, oh, it's not that bad. There's so many good things going on. There fucking isn't. And I'm also going to have a little bit of a problem with the bloodline right now. Okay? I'm going to have a little bit of a talk with you, the people, about the bloodline at the moment as I return the microphone to the neutral position. Because I'm also heated about the bloodline, because I decided to go on back through the catacombs of the bloodline storyline.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, who hasn't been on television for a month and a half. Actually, 2 months. He's been gone for 10 weeks.
And he shows up in like a backstage segment.
That's right. Shows up in a backstage segment and everybody's like, oh, SmackDown can get good again. Roman's here. Let me tell you something, people. This motherfucker hasn't put over one person other than his family in the entire 3 years that he has held the title. He has not put over anyone. And I don't want to talk about the people that lose and win and defeat.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. Sami Zayn is no better off than he was before Roman Reigns and after Roman Reigns.
And I don't even count that as Roman Reigns helping Sami, because Sami
Absolutely
was
not.
part of the
Sami just
bloodline.
did it himself.
Yeah.
If anything, Sami elevated the bloodline.
Exactly.
Drew McIntyre has earned nothing. Logan Paul has earned nothing. Cody Rhodes has earned nothing. Kevin Owens has earned nothing. These people have earned nothing. They have not been put over at all by Roman Reigns. I am sick to death about hearing about how the bloodline is the greatest story of all time. There have been maybe about 6 moments in the last 3 years. 6 moments in the last 3 years that have been even slightly good and it could be classified as great. 6 moments in 3 years does not a good storyline make, Just John, and I refuse to hear anything more. And I have fallen out of love with the WWE. I have fallen out of love with AEW because, truthfully, they're not doing that much better either, other than the MJF and Adam Cole stuff, which is leaning too much into comedy for my liking. There's nothing else. Yeah. Adam Copeland, great. It's nice that he's there. He's not really doing much. They let go of CM Punk, who is an actual leader, needle mover, gone. All of the fucking ratings have dropped since then.
I haven't seen one person talk about Collision since CM Punk left.
Exactly. Because it's a nothing show. It's a nothing show desperately trying to cling on to things. They threw a Daniel Bryan at the wall, and Daniel Bryan is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I am not taking away the wrestling portion of the television programs. I think the wrestling portions of the television programs are out of this world and the best that they've ever been, wrestling-wise.
But storyline-wise.
Storyline-wise, character-wise, everything else around it sucks.
Yeah, because right now we're living in a great era for wrestling.
Yes.
But a terrible era for storylines. Like I'm not sure if it's a creative thing. I'm not sure if maybe they just ran out of ideas, but no one, like, even me would, like, I love Japanese wrestling. I haven't watched it in months as well because there's just there's no storylines out there that are
Exactly.
the only one that I've been interested in has been the MGF and
Cole.
Adam Cole thing,
Yeah.
but it's getting to a point where I'm like, okay, where are we going with this storyline? Like, I get you want to like flush it out a bit, but I feel like sooner or later something's got to happen. Like, is Cole actually getting surgery? Like, how long is he going to be out for?
Yeah.
So it's a real injury.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, it's a real injury based on that jump, that fall.
Yeah.
As soon as it happened, I was like, oh no.
So we gotta see how long he's out for.
Mhm.
And then you have Roderick Strong, and I think he's good, but you know, he can't really get going until Cole comes back. So it's kind of like in a stale place right now. So there's not really much storyline wise to really get people going. Like, if someone that's never watched wrestling comes up to me and asks me about the storylines, there's not much.
There's nothing
to really tell them.
There's literally nothing,
Mhm.
and it irritates me so much that people are like, "Oh, did you rag on WWE too much?" Or people they're shitting on the product too much. This is the best that it's been in ages. No, it fucking hasn't. No, it hasn't. Because the only story that you can bring up WWE-wise is the Bloodline, and I just told you why that's not good either.
Yeah, the only one that we got is the Blood, and then you have Judgment Day, but they're also in like that weird phase where like they don't know what to do next, so they're just kind of like,
they don't really have a story. They're just doing things. Like, they're just progressing week to week. Like, who are they facing? They've just split up KO and Sammy, which is another issue and a bag of worms in of itself.
Rhea hasn't had a legit challenge in months.
Not since she's won the belt. She hasn't had a credible challenger since she's won the title, let alone like.
Yeah, actually, she hasn't since she won the title. She hasn't faced anyone.
Not anybody credible.
Yeah,
it's been Natalya. And a bit of Zelina Vega only because of Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And they treated Zelina better than
ridiculous.
Yeah, she hasn't had a credible thing. They took the belts off of them for reasons.
Just cause. And that's the thing. I strongly believe they are still just doing things just cause. And it's like, it's on Cody and Jey Uso right now, those tag titles, just cause.
I think even creative's kind of noticing how they're stuck in a rut a little bit, and they're like, yeah, let's just switch things up. Let's just put the belts on Cody and Jey for no reason at all.
Yeah. Like, and it's like, oh, we want to get Cody. Jey is not supposed to be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Jey is supposed to have quit to get away from the Bloodline. He's not even supposed to be on SmackDown. Did we forget about this? I think we did.
The whole reason he left the company was because he didn't want to be on SmackDown. Yeah,
I want nothing to do with my family.
He goes to Raw. He's like, this is perfect. I love it here on Raw.
Great.
And then they're like, well, here's the tag title, so you kind of have to go back to SmackDown.
Yeah. Welcome back. And Jimmy Uso is in the Bloodline, and there was no tension really between Roman and Jimmy.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's just there in the lounge room.
Yeah. And then the whole thing with Jey as well winning the title, it's like, I feel like Roman, like the character you've been building for so many years, wouldn't just see Jey.
He wouldn't be cool with this.
Yeah, he wouldn't just be like, you guys better figure something out. Why is Jey having, like, he wouldn't just sit there and do it. Like, no, he would have taken action or something. So it just seems like again, they're just doing things to fucking do it at this point.
I'm so angry. I am so angry with the state of professional wrestling right now. I am so angry. There are no story. And for the casual viewer, I can understand why a casual person would be like, why the fuck would I even bother?
Yeah.
Because they don't like wrestling. If they don't like wrestling and they just like characters, like the Attitude Era, they weren't wrestling based. They were character based. They were story based.
Yeah.
That's like matches were like 4 minutes, and you got the occasional 10-minute match.
How many matches have we reviewed here that have been like 8 minutes, and we
Exactly.
end up being like, "Yo, this was amazing."
Yeah.
They're like, "This was."
Like, if you want to do like the pure wrestling, save that for the pay-per-view, because you've got people that have paid for the pay-per-view
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
with the WWE Network. So those are your fucking loyals. But if you want these casual viewers that you've been dying for the last 25 years, that you keep on clinging on, that you're willing to bring back John Cena and call him the greatest of all time.
I'm telling you, man, it's a sad state, because even the other day, New Japan released their lineup for the tag league that they do every year,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking at the lineup, and I'm just like, I don't I don't care about any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Monday comes around and it's Raw, and I'm looking at the lineup for Raw, and I'm just like, I don't.
Who gives a shit?
None of this matters
None.
at all.
Nothing. There's nothing of consequence, and like like people really need to peel back the layers of this fucking storylines and all of this stuff that they are just praising the hell out of, and just be like, you know what? There's really not much here.
Yeah.
There's not much meat on this bone. I have been served a false bill of goods. I watched Impact. I decided to check out Impact because I'm like, is it just me? Is it just
It's all
WWE?
around.
Is it just
No.
AEW? I was fucking embarrassed.
It's all around.
I was embarrassed that I watched that show. It's not the Impact that I remember.
No, it's not.
It's not the 2008,
Listen,
2010.
I think there's a writer strike happening in wrestling,
Good
because
God.
it's all over the Impact, AEW, WWE, New Japan. Like, anywhere there's wrestling, there's just no creative. Like, everyone's just doing the same exact shit. No one's taking any risk. No one's fucking being like, you know what, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the same shit, the same wrestlers. I'm even gonna put some of the blame on the young guys. None of the young guys have really done anything to stand out amongst the crowd. The only one is Nick Wayne, and that's because he has a dead dad, and Christian's really leaning into that. But other than that, no young guys doing anything to really make you like want to focus on any wrestling or nothing. So
Christian honestly feels like one of the hottest stars at the moment.
He is.
He feels like he's kind of clicking on all cylinders. He's got that TNT title thing. He's been marinating with that for the last few months. He's the only one that feels like his story is organic, processed, and makes a bit of sense and has layers.
But the only problem with that is that now they brought in Edge.
Yeah.
So now it's like, because they didn't have to put them together, but they did.
And they've done it right away, so they've hot-shotted that.
So now it's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And finally, I cannot go any further with the Tuesday Night War and my ranting without talking about Tony Khan's ranting. Have you seen some of this?
I thought it was a fake. You know how Twitter has like the fake account? I thought it was one of the fake accounts, and then I click on the image, and it's like, no, like this is actually Tony Khan.
I was waiting for the hack tweet. I was waiting for that. Sorry, guys, I've been hacked. No, that was him.
Yeah, no, he's just childish.
That was him.
He's a very childish owner.
Honestly, like, who are you, man?
Oh my God.
That's the
owner of a company. It's crazy.
Who is in charge here?
Yeah, because now that Twitter introduced the whole Twitter Blue thing, and people are like, oh, I'm not paying for the thing. Sometimes you get confused and you're like, oh, this is probably a fake account that's just doing a really good Tony Khan impersonation. It's like, no, this is the real deal. No. This is him in the flesh.
Legitimately, he seems like a man that got like really high on coke Like, just snorted some
Have you ever seen any
cocaine.
of his promos? I'm pretty sure he
Yes.
does. I'm pretty sure he
And
was.
just went wild on some of the most childish things about calling people bald assholes, being the Undertaker and John Cena is a failure because they didn't draw over 1 million. They've never drawn over 1
I've
million
never
before.
seen any.
Like,
forget owner. I've never seen a GM talk
Yes.
like that. Like, it's wild.
what are you doing?
It's wild.
What are you doing?
And the fact that all of wrestling media was just like, yeah, look at Tony Khan do. I'm like, we should be way more
Yes.
outraged at this than what we were.
Like, I was getting angry at the Young Bucks for doing a lap.
What about?
That's child's play compared to this.
I'm telling you, like when it first happened, I didn't even pay attention to it because I'm like, oh,
Whatever.
parody account. And I see them pop up again, and I'm like, okay, whoever this is really going in on Shawn Michaels. Like, what the fuck? And then, a couple days go by, and I still see the tweets, and this time I like click the link, and I'm like, oh,
It's him.
it's him. And then I go to Shawn Michaels' page because I'm like, maybe it's like a back and forth type of. Shawn Michaels has not said a word.
No, because why would he?
Because he's a grown up.
Yeah, he's a grown ass man. And I don't appreciate the fact that they threw a bunch of people down to NXT. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, I get you being frustrated at that.
I find that completely ridiculous and insulting.
You can't also label it a war and then be mad when they do war things.
Exactly. But that is so childish to respond like that on fucking Twitter of all places. And like ridiculous. And all it says to me is that every person that comes up from NXT is already lesser than, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Already lesser than if you had to bring in the stairs to go down there.
That's the thing. Ever since NXT came out, they've always been viewed lesser than. And again, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they've been trying to do a decent job trying to make it like
they had it for equal, a while.
For a little bit.
For a while, they had it.
Vince wouldn't take his foot off.
Every single one.
Oh my god!
He killed every single one that came up.
Vince would not take his foot off their neck, man.
Nope.
Because even there was a time where established like main roster stars were going to NXT, not even as a demotion, just as like, you have nothing to do, come to NXT, do your thing. But yeah, Vince put a fucking stop to that, and made sure that no stars from over there is gonna look credible ever again.
Yes, I am indeed. I am not in love with pro wrestling. Today's current era, I think it is finally passed me by. I think I have finally grown out of current day wrestling, and all I am looking for is my nostalgia fix. Hook it up to my veins. I want to do the old stuff, and that is all.
Yeah, because I was even at work this Saturday. I was at work, and I remember I was just chilling in the break room and stuff, and I look at my phone, and I get a notification. It's a AEW Collision notification. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't even remember it was Collision because there's just nothing going on in wrestling right now. There's just nothing going on.
Feel free to debate with us on Twitter.
Yeah, I would like to see some of.
I would love to hear your rebuttal.
Yeah,
because as far as I am concerned,
because again, maybe we're missing it. Maybe there's a greater story going on,
and maybe everybody maybe everybody just cares about wrestling and how good the wrestling is right now, and that's valid. But you can't tell me that this is the best that it's been. And we're living in one of the best eras right now. I would love to hear your argument outside of the wrestling.
Yeah.
And
take the wrestling out of it.
And what storyline is gripping you and why? Yeah. I would love to hear it.
Because again, wrestling-wise, we're in one of the best eras, wrestling-wise.
Yeah.
So let's take wrestling out of it and just focus on storylines,
characters, and story. Who's gripping you? Why is their character gripping you right now? What's going on?
Just name me 10 wrestlers whose gimmick isn't I'm really good at wrestling. Just name me 10 that isn't their whole gimmick.
It's just coming out with boots and tights.
And that's it. And it's
ready
like,
to
I
rumble.
wrestle really good. And it's like, okay, what else?
Unreal. Well, my rant aside, gotten a lot of my energy out. So I am ready to review 2003. Are you with me?
Let's do it, man. Let's fucking go.
On with the review. Survivor Series 2003.
To survive. Do you have what it takes to survive? To defy destiny, to cheat fate, to sidestep certain damnation. To survive. Survive the game. A game of evolution. A game with no rules. A game of opportunity. I'm right here, so come and get it. Survive the final encounter. An encounter with a monster. An encounter with a reckless maniac. An encounter where someone will not walk away.
I'm gonna make your life a living hell.
Survive a battle of attrition.
This is just power versus speed.
Can the technical prowess of David overcome the brute force of Goliath?
This thing's got the ingredients of an explosion. Who the hell knows what's gonna happen?
Survive the night. Can this man trust anyone?
Your fate is in their hands.
Will he lose the life he has created? Survive. Survive the demons.
By God, I've been chosen to bury the Undertaker alive.
He is the face that decides the fate of all men. Can the darkness of his soul be overcome? Is this the man to put an end to his tyranny?
There comes a time where you have to be held accountable for your actions.
What shadows live in these men's souls? Defy destiny, cheat fate, sidestep certain damnation. Survive. What are you willing to do to survive?
November 16th, 2003 brings us Survivor Series 2003 and the end of the McMenace storyline. The end of the McMenace angle, and he has gone absolutely off the rails. We will get into it.
Oh my God.
But let us talk. Let's discuss the ins and outs.
Oh my God.
The creamy middles.
Your favorite.
Of the numbers.
There it is. Give it to us.
From the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, the attendance is 13,487, which is down from last year's 17,930, though that did take place in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, home of the first ever Elimination Chamber, might I add. Yes, however, big business here, the buy rate is up significantly this year at 450,000 buys, which translates to a 0.73 over the 340,000 of last year. So business is finally on the uptick, it seems.
Picking up.
Yes, we've taken our step back, we've done our regroup, and now we seem to be moving forward, which seems good. And then finally, it's time for the Raw Rebound.
Yes. Last episode there was no Raw Rebound.
Mm-hmm.
For reasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we are back.
Yes.
We are back with the Raw
Oh
Rebound.
my God.
We are
All
back.
right. So you have highlights.
I have some highlights.
All right,
Yeah,
great,
man. I have some highlights.
Great. I was fully walking into this podcast very disappointed that there was going to be no Raw Rebound.
No. Raw's been picking up slightly
All right.
over the last couple weeks.
All right. So before we get into the ratings, what has been happening on Raw? Give us the highlights.
So we had Goldberg and Shawn Michaels going at it for the title, which ended in a no DQ because Batista made his return and attacked Goldberg.
Yes.
Also around the same period, Triple H has put a bounty on Goldberg's head, so you had
$100,000.
so you just have random people attacking Goldberg all the time. Coachman is now best friends with Eric Bischoff, and he's just been going off on Stone Cold like almost every show, just insulting the hell because Stone Cold is the GM.
That's right.
He cannot attack anyone unless they attack him
Physically
first.
Provoked.
So
Yes.
now everyone who has a problem with Stone Cold, including Coachman and Eric Bischoff, are just fucking taking it to him because they know that he can't really do anything.
That's right.
And also, Jericho and RVD have been feuding over the IC title. They had a steel cage match on one of the Raws. So Raw's been on the up and up lately.
Yes.
Amazing what could happen with less Triple H on the card every week.
That's because of his hurting cock, if we remember.
Yeah, his groin.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is what they said. Is
Yeah,
his
that's
groin.
right. That's right. That groin tear. Yeah, that cock is in bad shape, and so he's had to take a back seat.
Yeah, but it's been a decent couple weeks for Raw.
That's
Yeah.
good. Along with all of the Kane and Shane shenanigans as they build up to the ambulance match here this evening, along with much more. There's a pretty stacked card, but let's take a look at the numbers, just John, because last time we discussed, SmackDown had managed to win a Ratings Roar.
Once.
Yes, once, and I told you, didn't I, that they tasted it, and they liked it. They liked the taste of victory. So here we go. The week of the 16th, Just John, it is time for you to decide whether or not SmackDown scored higher or lower throughout the weeks. Starting with October 16th, Raw scores a 3.65. SmackDown does higher or lower than a 3.65.
Higher.
Oh, not this time,
God
Just
damn it.
John.
I
A
thought you were setting me up for something.
3.3. They have halved it. But here we go. Week of the 23rd Raw. Here we go. Raw scoring a 3.4. SmackDown higher or lower?
Lower.
You would be wrong, good sir. They did it.
Oh,
They did it. And they did it by a little bit more significance at a 3.6. SmackDown finally pulls ahead as Paul Heyman becomes the new GM of SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yes. Brock Lesnar starts accumulating his team for Survivor Series, Team Big Beef. And Undertaker is still going at it with Vinnie Mac.
Yeah.
The week of the 30th, Raw scores a 3.4 once again. Does SmackDown go higher or lower?
God damn. See, now I've got two wrong. Now I'm in a
second
pickle
guessing
here.
yourself.
I'm going to go lower.
You're going lower. Well, you'd be wrong, sir.
Twice. Back to
2
back.
weeks in a row, and they add upon it SmackDown scoring a 3.7. They're getting even better. As we move to November the 6th, Raw scoring, getting back up there at a 3.7. SmackDown goes higher or lower, sir?
There's no way they beat a 3 point. No way they beat a 3.7. I'm going lower.
You'd be right, but only by a little bit at 3.6.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I was lost.
Yes, SmackDown is finally gaining some ground, and rightfully so. They seem to be doing very well on the storyline business. We've got Undertaker versus McMahon buried alive. The Holy Bible is just being torn to shreds in that angle. Along with Brock Lesnar's big boys looking to take on Angle's Misfits. Eddie and Chavo are having a little bit of tension. Nathan Jones is back after not being seen on SmackDown properly since WrestleMania.
Listen, they needed all the beef they can get.
Among other things. So they're kind of firing on all cylinders. Vince says so long as he's breathing in and breathing out, The Undertaker will never be the WWE champion. never.
And Taker responds with saying, well, I guess I got to stop you from breathing in and breathing out.
Absolutely. Yes, so Vince McMahon has gone well and truly off of the deep end. The Undertaker challenging to a buried alive match. And then...
and I believe this is the 4th buried alive match in WWE history.
Indeed. And so in reviewing SmackDown, I pulled up some audio because Vince McMahon, in his true McMenace best here, talks to Paul Heyman, the new general manager, after Paul Heyman gives Undertaker the option of any opponent, any time, any place, any match. And he obviously chooses Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon seems to be going insane here because as we take a listen...
Undertaker will be carried out. Vince, that's not going to happen tonight. You see, based on the impact that The Undertaker had last week and what The Undertaker could do tonight, I gave The Undertaker the night off. And I didn't just give The Undertaker tonight off, because based on what he's capable of, I gave The Undertaker off until Survivor Series. Oh, God! You don't realize what I want to do you? I mean, you see, this is what's going to happen. Terrorists are going to burn down The Undertaker's house. Yeah. Huh? His children are going to be kidnapped. His wife, she's going to be raped by a motorcycle gang right in front of The Undertaker. That's the plan I want implemented, damn it. And you're going to do it. And you're going to do it in 15 minutes. And if you don't, you see these hands? You see these hands? Yeah, I see them. I'm going to wrap them right around your throat. And I'm going to drag you out in front of these people. And I'm going to dig my fingers down into your flesh. And I'm going to choke the life right out of you.
Vince McMahon says such things as he wants The Undertaker's children kidnapped. His mother, his wife, raped. Along with saying that if Paul Heyman does not get that done in the next 10 minutes, that he's going to take him out to the ring and peel the skin off of his face while he chokes the life out of him.
Did he do it?
This segment immediately is followed by a trick-or-treat costume contest between Don Marie and Tori Wilson.
Oh my God.
Yes, and this is Vince McMahon at like his evil, like Gollum, So the following week, Vince McMahon leads us in a prayer, of which I also have, as we are going to play here.
I've been chosen by a higher authority, a greater power. I've been chosen. I've been chosen. I've been chosen to take this glorious quest. I've been chosen to take the final ride. I've been chosen to vanquish my foes. I've been chosen to slaughter the infidel. Yes, by God, I've been chosen to bury the Undertaker alive. Amen. And amen.
And in this, Vince McMahon says that he's going to slaughter the infidel. And finally, he concludes by looking at the heavens, saying that he feels protected. He's got a higher power. And he looks at the heavens and he says, Amen. And then he looks down to hell and goes, Amen.
What the fuck?
Yes, Vince McMahon has lost.
Wait, so what happened with Paul Heyman?
The Paul Heyman has survived. Evidently. Because Paul Heyman says the Undertaker is not here tonight. He's been saved until Survivor Series. So deal with it.
Oh, shit.
Deal with it, Vinnie Mac. And sure enough, he does.
Oh, my God.
The show opens with a video package, which is very nice. Very nice video package.
Listen, this whole show, the one thing that I will give this whole show is that all the video packages were A1.
Yes.
A1. Like, not one of these video packages I was, like, upset to see. They were all really, really good.
Not bad at all, as the show opens with traditional Survivor Series match, and John Cena does a rap. Does he rap? Does a KJ shit in the woods?
God damn.
He sure does. Just John drop beats. Yo. Chill. This whole pay-per-view is ass backwards. The main event is on first. I came through the curtain like a fetus. The rest of them are just afterbirth. Nate Jones, Matt Morgan, they don't even stand a chance. I guess Shane and Kane are gonna have to make some room in that ambulance. And A-Train, Brock, they need to talk to the grave digger. I'm burying both of those giants. They need to make that grave bigger. John Cena, survive alone. I don't need no frickin' stable. I wonder if I could trade in all four of my partners for a one-night stand with Sable. Oh. And Big Show, don't think I forgot about you, homie. He's a giant. I'm a giant whistle. So go ahead and blow me. Basic thugonomics. Word to your mother.
That was amazing.
Thank
That was
you.
Beautiful.
It's about time. It's about time that I get the respect that I
it's
deserve.
the season finale. I gotta give you some props. It's the season finale.
Thank you very much. Angles Misfits. John Cena. Benoit. Bradshaw. And a returning Hardcore Holly. And the team captain is Kurt Angle versus Brock and Brutes. Brock Lesnar. Big Show. A-Train. Nathan Jones. And Matt Morgan.
Florida Mayor.
Matt Morgan. Brock and Hardcore Holly fight on the outside to start All Men Brawl, and Hardcore Holly gets DQ'd. Thank you for coming. You are being set up big for that pay-per-view contest. Bradshaw then eliminates A-Train shortly thereafter with a clothesline from hell, but then Brad is gone after a chokeslam. Time was cut.
We gotta go. We gotta wrap this up.
We have no time to waste. Then we slow the match down a little bit. John Cena catches Brock Lesnar in the bowels. It seems like it was supposed to be a chop block, or maybe it was a spear.
Ended up
just an uppercut to the balls. It was kind of odd. And then I just wanted to point out to you, Just John, about the youth that's in this match right now. SmackDown is full of youth at the moment. Matt Morgan, 27.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, 26. John Cena, 26. Nathan Jones, early 30s. I mean, we've got nearly half of the participants in this match. They are youth on SmackDown.
And what I like about this match too is if you're listening to the crowd, the reaction for Cena is getting up there now.
Very much as a
tweener. Up there.
Very much as a tweener. Throughout the weeks, John Cena was being teased for the heel group. Brock Lesnar was being like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, I should speak like Brock Lesnar. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but John Cena, you might be joining Team Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar's gonna kick your ass.
Team Brutes and Suits.
Brock Lesnar's gonna kick your ass, buddy.
But evidently, John Cena joined the Face Brigade.
Yeah.
Yes, broken necks all over. Team Bruckneck. Benny Boy, Chris Benoit,
This is the broken neck Survivor Series, man.
Kurt Angle, and Hardcore Holly. All Bruckneck team.
Yeah.
As Michael Cole points out on commentary.
Of course, Michael Cole's the only person that would know these facts.
Absolutely. This man broke his neck, this other man broke his neck, and this third man here just got back from breaking his neck.
What's that move called? I don't know, but I can tell you who has a broken neck.
Absolutely. Huge press slam by Big to Benny. This group looks lost when trying to cheat and beat up Chris Benoit. They try to, like, Big Show is standing there. I think he's calling for Nathan Jones to throw him out of the ring or Matt Morgan, and everybody just stands there. So Big Show is like, hey, Kurt, come in here, please. And then finally they throw him outside.
Because there was a funny moment between Big Show and Kurt a little before he invites him in. Because he has Chris Benoit in the gorilla press. And he walks up to Kurt and he's like, Kurt, you piece of shit. And he just drops Benoit. I'm like, why did she? God damn.
The match breaks down a little bit, but we get back to basics. Kurt Angle gets the hot tag. German to Matt Morgan all over the place. Matt and Jones have an ugly ass collision where Nathan Jones big boots Matt Morgan and then trips all over Matt. Just falls all over himself. An angle slam to Matt Morgan. Morgan is gone. Clothesline kills Jones. Big Show by Big Show. And then an ankle lock to take out Nathan Jones. An F5 quickly thereafter to Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle is gone. So 3 eliminations in about 45 seconds.
I'm telling you, man.
Lightning fast, these eliminations. Brock Lesnar and Chris Benoit, they work for a little bit. Benoit works the arm into a crossface. Not once. Not twice. But thrice. And Brock Lesnar does a little bit of the tippy tap.
Yeah. And then you get the you tapped out chants from the crowd.
And just about a minute of action later, and we have Big Show with a choke slam to Benny. It was a blind tag, though. Cena is in. Cena gets knocked down. The referee is distracted. Chain off the face of Big. F you to Big. 1, 2, 3. Survivors John Cena and Chris Benoit. This match went 12 minutes.
And I was so upset because when I saw that we were reviewing Survivor Series, I got hyped up because I haven't watched a traditional Survivor Series match in ages. I can't even remember the last one I watched, like a proper Survivor Series match.
No.
So I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready. It's the first match, and it's over in 12.
That's right.
minutes.
12 minutes. I mean, it was a good match. It was very exciting, but I just would have liked a little more time for it to breathe.
And honestly, with the people that were in it, Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, Bradshaw without Farouk.
That's right.
I guess they were just like, you know what? Let's just speed it to the people that we actually want to see, which is Kurt, Brock, Cena, and all those guys.
Yes.
But it just went by way too quick.
It did.
Way too fucking quick.
A couple of extra minutes maybe would have been nice. We'll get on to it a bit later, but I know some time that could have been shaved. We'll get there. Backstage!
This was weird.
Vince McMahon and Shane talking about fighting the brothers Kane and Taker, and how Vince is like, do you feel it? Do you feel it in the air? It's almost ironic. All right, and I feel protected. I feel protected, Shane. Like you and I are going up against these demons.
This is such a piece of shit.
Yeah, how do you feel? And Shane is like, I feel sorry for you. And Shane McMahon, he gets back to shadow boxing.
That's what
Vince McMahon just walks right on out and then walks right into Stone Cold Steve Austin.
This was such an awkward fucking. I was watching it with like my phone out trying to take notes, and I'm just like, what do I write for this next part? How do I even describe what's happening?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happens. They both fall to a silence, and then Steve Austin goes, and Vince goes. Then Austin goes, and Vince goes, and Steve Austin goes, and Vince goes, and then Steve Austin goes, And that's the end of the segment.
They cut the first match for this shit.
I did.
God damn.
Women's title is on the line as Molly Holly defends against Lita. Molly defending, and Lita, who is only just getting back from neck surgery. She was injured during a TV show taping called Dark Angel.
Oh, I remember seeing her talk about this shit. Yeah.
Yes. She was filming a Hurricane Rana, and apparently the stunt coordinator didn't know how to take it or whatever, and so she ended up landing too soon.
Yeah.
Yes, snapped her neck in 3 places.
Apparently, with the thanks with Stone Cold's help, she recovered and all that. So.
Got right to the doctor, and the doctor called her up and said, "Doctor, ain't there nothing I can do? Put the lime in the coconut and you drink them both together."
Listen, wrestlers are a different breed of people. Because breaking your neck in 3 places and then a couple months later being like,
Oh, she was? Yeah. I mean, she's been out for a year and a half.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Because some of these wrestlers, they do not let their bodies heal properly, and they're already back out.
Kurt Angle back in 3 months.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, Stone Cold didn't even take time off. He just kept on going. Yeah. A lot of these folks, I don't know, dangerous game. Lita is in control early on, a sweet suplex kick up, but then she gets tossed outside. Lita just ragdolls herself on the guardrail.
Lita has an interesting wrestling style where, like, she's a good wrestler, but every move she does makes it seem like she's never wrestled a day in her life. I'm not sure if that makes any sense.
It does.
Okay.
Apparently, Hardcore Holly is not a fan.
No one should like she can wrestle, like she can definitely hold her own against some of the wrestlers.
Not according to Hardcore.
She just doesn't look well doing it.
Apparently, she's crap according to Hardcore Holly.
She looks crap when
she does look. It does look really sloppy. It looks like an absolute mess. But sure enough, there was something about her. The charisma. Handspring back elbow by Molly Holly when they get back in. Continuing the work. A lot of neck attack. Lita lifts herself to the top rope for a flying crossbody, though. A lot of cleavage on display by Molly Holly.
Listen, Molly Holly was beautiful back in the day. It's just she was in a land of land of giants.
Yeah. Well, I felt the need to point out her cleavage. I felt the need to point out her beauty, seeing as her character, according to commentary at this point, is that she's a dumpy, ugly virgin cow.
Which doesn't make any sense. Again, maybe because of the era she was in, but she was not that ugly. God damn. She was not that bad.
Sidewalk slam by Molly Holly. Jerry the King Lawler also felt that now was the time to bring up that he misses seeing Lita in a thong.
Oh, of course.
He misses the baggy pants thong era. At the same time as he says this, a gorgeous power bomb by Lita to Molly Holly. And I'm just like, what is the viewer meant to feel here? Are we supposed to rely on the sex appeal, or are we supposed to be enjoying the wrestling?
You just saw an amazing power bomb, and the commentator is like, "Remember when thongs? When you could see her thongs?
Yeah.
Miss those days."
Yeah. Like, what is happening? And Jerry Lawler does this throughout the whole match. She's like, oh, we always talk about how sexy Lita is.
Yeah.
Lita's got a book out. Molly Holly's the women's champion. She doesn't have a book. Why doesn't she have a book? Maybe it's because she's a big, dumpy, ugly virgin.
Because again, like Lita then does like a leg sweep, she does a
right.
moonsault and all that, and then Jerry's just in the corner like, oh,
There you go.
I guess this was cool.
Molly goes up for the Molly go round, only gets a 2 count, an amazing move. This was just after the lead assault gets missed, and then Molly exposes the turnbuckle and then sends Lita into it. Oddly enough, that's not a DQ, but I suppose it doesn't matter because Molly Holly was going over anyway. Molly Holly wins.
The ref felt bad for her. She's
I
a little
guess.
ugly
Yeah,
duckling.
she's a dumpy, ugly, fat, just a fat old walrus looking,
According to Jerry.
according to Jerry Lawler. Match number 3, the ambulance match, the final encounter between Kane and Shane McMahon.
And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the promo package for this match
It was very good. But the thing is that
legit made Kane look like a monster, like
did.
a legit monster.
it did. But sadly, that's not what I took away from the promo
boy.
package. So they were playing "O Fortuna" as the song, you know, "O Fortuna." Yeah. And have you ever seen the misheard lyrics of "O Fortuna"? Because all I was hearing, and if you could please play the song at the point that it reaches the climax, because the misheard lyrics that have always stuck with me: salsa cookies, windmill cookies, they gave you gonorrhea.
Wait, is that actually part of the official song?
No,
Oh.
this octopus, let's give him boots. Among other things,
Oh
but
my
that's
God.
all I could think of throughout this promo package. Kind of nuts. The ambulance almost blows up
Yes.
because it's too close to Kane's pyro.
And then I guess whoever was in the thing tried to move it and then realized like
Could you imagine the heat from the pyro? Because I remember being at WrestleMania 32 and I'm sitting like, I was on the floor, but I was in like the back bit of the floor, and it was the Undertaker's entrance. I could feel the heat of the pyro from the Undertaker's entrance from the opposite side of the entrance ramp.
So
And
now
this is
imagine-
Dallas Stadium.
Now imagine in a fucking
Exactly.
car right in front of it.
This is AT&T Stadium. I'm maybe like 100 yards. I've got to be like a solid football field. If not, at least like 2/3. And I still felt the heat.
My poor guy turned into a hot pocket in there.
That's right, yes. Jim Ross calls Kane as crazy as an inbred pit bull dog.
And Jerry's just like, yep,
Indeed.
yep.
Indeed.
Like, he had
And,
nothing for that. He's like, yeah, man.
And here comes the money. Because here comes Shane O'Mac. And first move out the gate nearly breaks Kane's neck. Let's add another to the pile.
Yeah, that was the scary shit.
Mhm.
The way he, like, because Kane goes over the top rope
That's right.
and then just kind of like stays like a second, like backwards
That's right.
in the air
Eh.
and then just drop. That
Eh.
was such a scary,
Eh.
scary fucking
He
fall.
like bounces off the top rope and it sends
Oh
him into orbit
Oh my god!
and nearly kills him.
And
Like,
they didn't they didn't show the review
no,
till way later.
way later.
Till they made sure that he
Eh.
didn't land on his fucking neck.
But Shane McMahon, nope, right on top of him. Doesn't waste a minute. Of course, Shane McMahon needs to slow the fuck down as
Yeah.
he has his entire career.
Because Kane's probably like, hey, I'm not sure if you saw, but I almost fucking
Almost
died,
died.
buddy.
Right.
So, you know.
Almost died. So Kane gives him a stiff boot to the fucking face. There you go. But it doesn't take long before Shane has Kane laid up on the announce table. He gets on up there and he's going for the leap of faith through the announce table.
Yep.
Mhm.
0 to 100.
Yep.
No stop so far in this match.
Absolutely not. Kane sits up after about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And Shane is like, come on, come on.
Come follow me, buddy.
Chase me, big man.
Let's do
Chase
it.
me.
Let's do this.
Throwing some chairs in his way, like, come to me. Come hither. They go to the backstage where the camera cuts out. Big booze and bullshit chants.
Yeah, because they kept there was this recurring thing in this match where the cameras kept going out in the backstage.
Yeah.
Even though no one's bumping into the cameras, no one's tripping over any cables, the cameras are just turning off. And I'm like, cool.
Just losing feed.
But it would have been better if maybe there was something causing them to, and not just like Shane throws a punch and then the camera cuts. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
Well, Shane gets to whooping.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, because there was one point that pissed me off because they cut the camera. They're like, oh no, the camera cut. And then they get this other camera guy, and he's coming up to film what's going on, and you can see the other camera guy, and I'm like, what are we doing?
The other camera guy is just like,
and he has a guy helping him with the cable, and I'm like, there's no reason that camera should be off right now.
Outrageous. But no, they wanted chaos. They wanted the feeling of chaos, and they got it. Shane gets to whooping with the kendo stick, nice and hardcore, then runs him over with a truck.
That's that McMahon blood. Nothing could be simple.
Calls an ambulance in the back, but it doesn't work. Kane fights out of it. We start to wander away. That's when we lose the camera once again. We're back in the arena. And then crack windshield city goes Shane McMahon's headpiece. The back of Shane McMahon right there. Unprotected door shot to Kane, though. Yeah. Like, good Lord.
Listen, this is one of those matches where it's like, yeah, I'm going to let you do that to me, but I'm going to get my comeuppance later on.
Stiff as hell.
Everything's been stiff.
Stiff as a dick action.
Yeah, because even those kendo shots that Shane was landing on Kane sounded like he was not holding back.
He's got wilts and scratches all over his back. He's all dirty. He's cut up on the head. A coast to coast by Shane McMahon. He puts a cardboard box in front of Kane and puts a trash can so that, Shane doesn't fall and die and crack his head open on the coast to coast.
Like, I was mad at that at first, but then when I saw him jump off the ambulance, I'm like, you know what?
I appreciate the safety check.
Yeah, you get a pass for it.
But here's the thing, is that Kane is taking too much of a beating by Shane as the new monster in town.
Yeah. Well,
he's taking a bit too much offense.
But I feel like it makes a little bit of sense once we get later on in the pay-per-view.
I guess.
But right now, if you're just looking at this match, it is kind of like this guy that's never wrestled before, or has had a couple wrestling matches, but isn't like
he's
Bret
a tough
Hart.
He's a tough old bird. He's a tough old bird, is Shane McMahon. But Kane is the monster here.
Yeah, and this isn't like authority Kane, like Pat, like this is prime Kane.
That's right.
This is Kane doing fucking cruiserweight moves in a fucking heavyweight's body.
Yeah,
like there shouldn't be a reason why Shane.
He gets in the ambulance. Like Shane gets him in the ambulance, which I feel should not happen.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is a step too far. Like, I can understand the beat down and the throwing of the thing. Like, I could almost suspend my disbelief enough for that. But getting him in the ambulance, even as a false finish?
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
You're talking about a literal demon going up against a guy in a baseball jersey. Like.
He kicked him into a dumpster of fire. And he still came back.
Like, Kane survived, like, the house fire that almost killed him.
That's right.
Fucking... What was the match with Undertaker?
Inferno match. Many fires.
Like every
multiple fires.
Multiple fires.
You should not be able to get him in the ambulance.
Like not even close.
That should not be a thing. I'm sorry. But as he gets out of the ambulance,
not even any trickery or like just him cleanly throwing Kane. All right.
It wasn't like a duck You know, like he slid out of the way as
Exactly.
Kane went for like a big spear or something.
Yeah, he didn't
Just
trip, fall into
no.
the ambulance, anything like that.
no banana peels, no nothing.
Nothing.
Crazy. But yeah, Kane gets out of the ambulance and then proceeds to just go into like, you know, Goku mode and just begin to Super Saiyan up and kill Shane McMahon, throwing him all over the ambulance. Tombstone on the floor, tosses him into the ambulance. Kane wins.
My favorite thing about ambulance matches, especially this one, is when Kane closes the door. If you're a medical professional, of course, you would want to check on your patient before taking him to the hospital. Maybe put a little neck brace. Hell, maybe a seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride. He just got tombstone.
Especially that guy. He had to reverse like 6 times to get through the curtain wall.
So it's like, you know, it's going to be a
ridiculous.
bumpy little ride. So maybe check, you know, put a little seatbelt. Like, no. Just drive off.
Just drive off.
Just drive off. With
No
him.
lights, no
Nothing,
sirens, no nothing. No.
Like he's gonna go like regular, like he's gonna go 40. Like, he's
Well, I mean, he's not in critical condition. It's wrestling. It's all fake anyway, isn't it?
I thought like after like they got to a certain point, like the medics are gonna come in, but no, he drives right out the arena.
He got stuck on the curtain.
Well, he almost blew up.
God, he did. He's probably terrified. Still in shock. Yeah. They did not pay me enough for this. They did not pay me hazard money.
He fucking gets caught on the thing. He's like, you know what, dude, it's just not my day today. Shane, you just figure it out, buddy. I don't know.
Backstage, Brock Lesnar is being interviewed by Josh Matthews. And Josh is like, hey, how do you feel about your loss tonight? And Brock Lesnar is like, I didn't lose. It wasn't me. I didn't lose.
No.
And Josh says, with all due respect, you tapped out. He's like, I didn't tap out and I didn't lose. Fuck you. Do you remember who I am? I'm the WWE champion, bitch.
Josh Matthews just like, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
Buddy, but okay.
Could you lower your voice a bit, please? And then Goldberg strides on in, says, hey, buddy, my name's Goldberg. Aren't you going to wish me luck in my match tonight?
Why would
And then just walks away. Meaningless.
Goldberg's run in WWE was funny.
So, for whatever reason, just John, we cut to Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah, this bullshit.
He comes on down and says, you know, even though I've been 3D'd and my neck has been beaten and bruised to shit, add another one to the pile for the neck brick. We have...
Oh, yeah, this is another one.
In the next...
Oh, my God.
In the next couple of days, I should be A-okay. Thank you very much. And he goes to leave, and then he's like, whoa. Wait a minute. Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
He's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Who are they?
Basketball team.
Okay.
Plays in that arena that they're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's are they good? What's good about them?
In 2003, they were decent.
They were decent?
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's mostly like Mark Cuban is just like one of those millionaires that people just like. So
there's not many of those.
Yeah, so I guess they saw him and were like, you know what? Instead of getting like an actual one of the players, they're like, fuck it, Mark Cuban.
Okay.
'Cause Mark Cuban will probably do this.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah. He's one of those rich guys that really takes advantage of the fact that he's rich and just does all the cool shit that
just
regular people can't do.
All right. Dallas Mavericks, eh? Basketball, you say?
Basketball.
Okay, well, interesting to know. Basketball.
Yeah.
All right. Just tease. We might be talking about that a little more in the future.
Stay tuned for that one.
Intent.
At the Colossal Tussle One on Twitter.
Intent. And so Jonathan Coachman is like, hey, bitch, what are you doing here in my land? And Eric Bischoff is like, whoa, I've got this. Gets in the ring, goes to Mark Cuban and says, hey, bitch, why don't you get in the ring if you've got something to say? And Mark Cuban, who I don't believe had anything to say, he gets in the ring though.
Yeah.
And Eric Bischoff is like, hey.
Oh, no, because Coachman, when he was talking to Cuban,
Yes.
he's like, "Oh, what are you expecting to see tonight?" And he's like, "I want to see Stone Cold whoop Eric Bischoff's ass."
Yeah.
And then Eric Bischoff comes out and he's like, "Bitch, say it to my face."
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah. But then he doesn't get on the microphone at all. So what he had to say, he had already said.
Yeah. That was the whole. Yeah, he said what.
So why'd you jump the rail, my son? You're asking for some trouble, and trouble he does get. He pushes Eric Bischoff down, and then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere and delivers an RKO. All right, and there we go. So
which was because they were like hyping it up, like, "Oh, Orton KO's another legend." Yada yada yada.
Yes.
Mark Cuban isn't not in 2003. He wasn't a legend, so it's like
not a legend.
The celebrity killer, maybe, but not the legend killer.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I can think this could have been cut for.
Oh yeah.
As could the follow-up.
No.
Evolution in their locker room.
You
disagree?
The cutest shit I've ever fucking seen.
Cute?
Yes. Because let me explain to the people that are watching this. So Evolution is in the back.
This is Evolution, by the way. This is Triple H.
Evolution is
Ric Flair.
Evolution is in the back.
Batista.
Of ladies of the night. Maybe they knew them. Maybe they paid for them. I'm not here to judge. But they're out there. They're partying.
Yes, we are. We are reviewers of a podcast.
They're doing their thing. And here comes Randy Orton.
Randy Keith.
And they're partying with all these beautiful women. And Randy Orton comes in and he's like, Flair, you wouldn't believe what I just did. And they're like, hey, Orton, there's women around. He's like, yeah.
He sees that. He gets his nipples pinched.
Twice.
By two separate women.
And it's so funny because Orton's trying to get his promo out. I don't think the nipple pinching was part of it.
Oh, definitely it wasn't.
Because they pinch his nipples. And he's like, hey, And he stops for like a minute. Like right when he's about to get back into his promo, the other girl touches his nipple. And he's like,
oh, what's happening?
Oh, shit, what's going on?
And his nipples get visibly hard, by the way. It's probably really cold in the back room.
And it's so fucking cute because he wants to go back to just trying to cut his promo and focus while he has the two hardest nipples.
Yeah.
And he's like, you won't believe it. I just RKO'd Mark Cuban. And Flair's like,
Fantastic.
I don't care.
That's great. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Women all over this place. Come toast with us.
I've had 2 Viagras.
Dick's hard as hell right now.
It's gonna take at least 2 to last until 11. All right, gonna take at least.
This was so fucking funny to me, man.
I'm proud. And then
when
think that way,
when they go do the toast, Orton doesn't have a glass, so he just snatches it from one of the models. Yeah.
And there you have it.
I love this so much.
Well,
this was amazing.
I'm glad you liked it, pal. I'm glad you liked it.
If you have a chance, go back and watch it. It was funny.
No.
Yes.
What
God.
For? No.
It was hilarious.
For Ric Flair's hard dick?
For baby Randy.
No. Yuck. It is time to share the load. Here at the season finale, at the final hurdle. Are you ready for it, you big black bitch?
Oh man, we live in a better world now. Because back in 2003, the Basham brothers were tag champs.
Yeah, and somehow they're coming out to even less crowd reaction than last time.
How is it possible?
It's even more silence.
People actually left the arena to make sure it was silent.
I could hear the music loud and clear this time. Amazing.
You heard every verse, every sentence.
Every
Yeah, so Basham's, and so I guess she's technically their dominatrix.
Shaniqua,
their dominatrix. They come out. They're the tag champs. They'll be facing Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo.
Yes.
Chavo's been showing lately that he has one foot in, one foot out. Like he might turn, maybe not.
He's very irritated because Eddie Guerrero lost the championship, as we know, at No Mercy. And then the very next week, he was the man who was pinned for the Bashams to pick up the gold.
Listen, Eddie's one of those guys that you don't really need to put him in a fucking tag team. Like he's a single star. But for some reason they always fucking pair him.
Guerreros.
They always pair him with one of his Mexican partners and shit. This time it was with Chavo, and again Chavo's almost out the door. So this partnering is almost done. Decent match. I'm gonna come out and say it. One of the Bashams to me are like the equivalent of what's that other tag team that I fucking hate?
The Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers. I have them at that same level as the Bushwhackers, where I don't really get their character.
That's fair enough.
I don't really understand. Well, people don't like them, so I understand why they're there. But again, aside from maybe their
I don't even know if they don't like them as much as they just don't care about them because they don't make a peep.
It's a weird fucking gimmick. It's a weird. They always like. It's like modern day WWE. They always try to get over the superhero gimmick. It never works, but they always try to do it.
That's right.
In the Attitude Era, early 2000s era, it was this weird hypersexual character.
That's right.
That only worked with Goldust, but they kept trying to do it and kept trying to do it, and they just made some of the worst characters.
Because the thing is that the Bashams, they come out with like this strap thing. If you think about like the Demolition and their outfit, they had the top bit of that with whips, chains, and handcuffs attached to the back of it. And of course, Shaniqua whips them both in the ass in order to get them started in the matchup. And they just proceed to have dull, boring kind of offense. And then, of course, the finish comes. And the finish, I mean, it begins with like Chavo and Eddie. They've got the match won.
Yeah.
Frog Splash has been hit. Everything's cool. But Shaniqua has caused a distraction. And the Bashams do the twin magic. But it fails.
No shit. Because fucking Shaniqua's on the apron, trying to distract Chavo and Eddie.
Right.
They drop kick Danny out of there. Danny non-factor.
Bam,
boom.
non-factor.
Bam, non-factor.
Bam, non-factor.
He's out of there. Shaniqua comes in, and because WWE is inclusive, we care about all people. She gets a clothesline.
She gets clothesline the fuck out of. And then Eddie...
Another boob job.
Yes. And then Eddie does a frog splash on top of that.
Yeah, and then Chavo spanks Shaniqua.
That's right. That's right. But in this spanking malarkey, here comes Danny Bash. And Danny Bash tries to get some advantage, but Chavo Guerrero ends up with a tilt-a-whirl DDT that accidentally kicks Eddie Guerrero in the back of the dome piece.
And then Danny comes out, roll up, win.
Tights.
And for some reason...
Fingers firmly in the butthole.
Jesus. Not an image I needed or wanted. But it's here. But yeah, the Bashams win.
We have a winner.
Bashams are still fucking champs.
That's right.
And the crowd goes mild.
Silent.
Not even mild.
Not mild. Mild would suggest that there was a reaction.
But
if the crowd, if it was empty seats, you wouldn't tell a difference.
But it only went 7 minutes.
That's right.
Chavo did not turn, so
no.
You know.
They had a little bit of a like, you did that to me? You did that to me, brother? You did that to me. And Chavo was like, no. I did not do that to you. It was Danny that did that to you when I had to maneuver his body. and kick you in the head.
He's like, if you don't believe me, this is actually crazy thing. This is actually recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just go to the back and I can show you.
We're on pay-per-view.
It's not. It wasn't me.
We'll buy the replay and
But
you'll
Eddie,
watch them.
You know, Eddie's just not having it.
That's
Eddie's
right.
like, I don't fucking trust you. I don't know.
Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
And now it is on to one of the best Survivor Series matches of all time, as Team Austin, HBK, the Dudley Boys, RVD, and Booker T taking on Team Bischoff, Randy Orton, Y2J, Christian, a very wet Mark Henry, and Scott Steiner.
Freakzilla.
That's right. Steve Austin's quote-unquote career is on the line.
Yeah, career. What did Austin? And Austin gets to beat everyone up if
That's
he
right.
wins. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The provoked stipulation is null and void. Steve Austin gets to come on back. It is kind of implied that Steve Austin is going to wrestle again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the implication. Because it still hasn't, I mean, it did come out on the dirt sheets, but still to the casual viewer, to most of the viewers, it was never actually said, this is Steve Austin's retirement match at WrestleMania 19. So people are just like, oh, all right, so he's just not wrestling. But this was supposed to be like, hey, if Austin wins, you'll get to be his old Stone Cold again.
So the people in Dallas, Texas did not think he was retiring.
No. People in Dallas were thinking, oh, okay, he just hasn't wrestled for a while, so he'll win this match and we'll get the old Stone Cold. We'll get him back in the ring.
No, because I was watching this match and I'm like, everything about this, like, it's gonna sound weird to say, but everything about this match just made sense. The crowd was super hot.
Yep.
Fucking commentary was like, this is the best JR I've probably heard in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was just clicking, and it makes that much more sense because I guess everyone, like, aside from the fans, everyone else in the match probably knew, like, hey, this is probably Stone Cold's last time doing anything in WWE for a while. Let's kind of put in some more effort, because this was one of those. This match was amazing.
Yeah, that's probably what they thought. That's definitely probably what they were thinking. Austin and Jericho come face to face when everybody comes out, and it's upsetting to me that they never had a big feud, because they really should have, because they would have done big business. Even their little bit here, and they've done like a little bit like over in Europe. They were doing Insurrection, and they had
I remember
a highlight reel.
About it, right?
Yeah, we may have touched on it. Yeah, but there was a highlight reel, Austin and Jericho, and they were just ad-libbing for like a good 10 minutes, and the chemistry was there, and it was just kind of lightning in a bottle. It was sad that they didn't get a good proper feud. Would have been nice in 2002 if Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't take his bow and go home like a punk ass. Christian is called a CLB. Do you know what CLB stands for, Just John?
Certified Lover Boy.
You would be incorrect about that one. It stands for Creepy Little Bastard.
Oh my god.
Which is something that they were trying to get over at this time as a nickname for Christian.
Well, we do have the stories that Vince hated Christian's face, so it makes sense.
Creepy Little Bastard. Jim Ross early on the commentary desk says about RVD and Y2J, you'll see them every Monday night on the flagship show. On the flagship. Raw has always been the flagship show. And that's where you're going to see the stars. All right? The stars, the talent. Every Monday night live. Like, all right, JR. Calm down, buddy. Booker T and Scott Steiner get to hook it up. There's a lot of history there. A lot of history.
Because there's even a moment in the match. Scott Steiner's fucking amazing. There's a moment in the match where Booker tags out to RVD RVD and Scott Steiner are doing their thing.
That's right. They're hooking it up.
Yeah, and Scott Steiner just he drops RVD. I think he does like a fucking slam of some sorts.
Mm-hmm.
He puts RVD down, kicks him a couple times for unprovoked, for no reason at all. Walks to Booker T. He's like, shut up, Booker T. Says his full name. He's like, shut up, Booker T. And then walks right back out. And I'm like, what's going on today with people just insulting the other guy in the corner?
We hate him. Booker T ends up hitting a scissors kick on Scott Steiner and delivers a spinneroonie. A match breaks down and a low blow by Scott Steiner to Booker, and the recliner is on. Stacy Keibler, who is being held hostage at the moment by Scott Steiner.
And no one seems to care or anything.
Because she had been won. Yes. So it was a match between Scott Steiner and Test. And Scott Steiner had won the services and then immediately turned heel because at first he was babyface and Test was the man holding Stacy Keibler hostage. But now it is Scott Steiner. And now they're kind of they're going to end up coming together to co-hostage her and just treat her like dog shit, beat her up a little bit.
Because I even love as they were
really showing her the business.
As they were introducing all of them, I don't know what Stacy does, but on the ramp, Scott Steiner pulls her to the side, and the cameraman just just puts them on a frame. He's like, yeah, not focusing on that. What's going on over here? What's Christian saying?
Yeah. There we go. But there we go. Stacy is held hostage. She cheers on Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Steiner gets up, grabs her by the hair, but that turned into a reverse 3D.
Sorry, and that's another thing that I found fucking funny. Because as she was cheering on Booker T, everyone's like, what is she doing? She's cheering on the wrong person. I'm like, what do you...
She's being held hostage.
What do you mean, what is she doing? This is her captor. She's going to cheer against him. The fuck?
But there we go. A reverse 3D by the Dudley Boys. Booker T able to pin and eliminate Scott Steiner. Mark Henry is in, who is just wet all down the back. Yeah. Delivers a world's strongest slam. Booker T is gone.
And I'm surprised that those two were the first two to come out. Because there were certain names on here that I'm like, yeah, he's probably out first. But it was surprising that Scott Steiner and Booker T were the first out.
There you go.
But they continue their disrespect of WCW.
Oh, yes. Yeah. RVD gets cut off by Mark Henry, and it's heat time, baby. But no! Because Big Bubba Ray gets in, and he gets a little flurry of offense, but gets laid out by the Big Henry. Mm-hmm. Henry is being made to look real good at the moment as he takes on both Dudleys, but they manage a 3D, a frog splash, and out of nowhere, and then dogpile to eliminate Big Mark Henry. A good fake-out crossbody here into a split-leg moonsault by RVD once Chris Jericho was involved.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if you've touched on it, but there was one moment between the Dudley Boys that I found to be fucking super, super clever.
Okay.
Where I think it's Devon. He throws Orton to the ropes, and they do the blind tag.
Yes.
And who is it that comes in? Jericho comes in, and Bubba immediately yells, "Blind tag!" And Devon, Randy's about to hit a clothesline. Devon ducks and just trucks fucking Jericho, which I thought was such a clever thing.
Very good.
And I don't understand why more tag teams don't just be like, hey, watch out.
Well, that's why they're one of the best tag teams in history.
I saw that and I replayed that moment 3 times because I'm like, how has no one else thought of this?
Very true.
You know, if there's a blind tag happening, you can tell your partner that there's a blind tag. You don't have to just sit there and be like, hope he saw that.
Damn.
I really hope he saw that.
Damn. Yes, you are very right. After a bit of action, Y2J takes out RVD and gets him right into an RKO by Randy Orton. He is gone. Devon follows shortly thereafter after a little bit of vitamin C. A little bit of Chris Jericho and Christian action. Their distraction leads to getting right on out of here. Bubba and HBK is all that is left. Shawn Michaels finally gets tagged in for the first time after a solid 10 minutes, sitting on the apron. He does a little bit of work with Randy Orton and with Chris Jericho, and then tags out. Bubba Ray cleans some house, but it's a low blow by Chris Jericho, an unprettier by Christian, and we are down to 1-on-3. HBK has it all to himself.
Yep.
And here we go. Shawn Michaels fights for his life, but the numbers game is catching up. He goes off of the post by Christian with the catapult, and he is bleeding a gusher. He is bleeding the Lake of Nine. The drama gets even better here, and of course, Shawn Michaels bleeds about 3/4 pounds of blood.
I don't know how he's standing.
I don't know, a couple of milk bags, quart or two, counters the unprettier into the Sweet Chin Music. A great elimination. Flawless.
I was just going to say,
Flawless.
that was one of the best Sweet Chin Music.
Oh.
Like, Christian took it like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way Shawn just kind
Shawn
of falls
back
on
him.
Amazing.
Yes. Y2J and Randy Orton are working over Shawn for some time. A sleeper turns into a big back suplex.
And there's a moment here while Jericho and Randy Orton are beating the shit out of Shawn where King says, the fat lady hasn't sung, but she's clearing her throat.
She's clearing her throat.
I was like,
she's getting ready.
This is why they have you around, King, for those small moments.
Yes. Yes. We got the big back suplex. It seems like Shawn Michaels has no hope, but a DDT by Shawn Michaels to Chris Jericho, but Orton is able to break up the pin. A lion salt attempt, but the knees are up. The crowd goes wild. Goes for the Sweet Chin Music, but ends up getting the walls. No music here, but countered into a roll-up. Chris Jericho is gone! 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 And both men on commentary are like, I believe!
Even the King's like, you can sit down, JR, it's okay.
That's right. And he says, I can't help it. I can't. But Chris Jericho, that no good, dirty, rotten bastard, he picks up the steel chair and he gets Michaels.
Yep.
And here comes Randy slithering into the ring. This is perfect camera work. Randy Orton was sent to the outside, to the far side of the ring. He gets hit with a steel chair. Shawn Michaels is down, dead to rights, and Randy Orton just peeks up over the apron.
It's my time to shine.
Slides back in slowly. The drama. 1, 2, no. Huge pop. Randy Orton goes for a crossbody but ends up killing the referee. Yep. Shawn Michaels grabbing, scratching, clawing, gets to his feet. He's dead. He's barely even tuning up the band. They're just tippy-taps.
He's tippy-tapping.
They're just tippy-tapping. And then here comes Eric Bischoff with one of the worst kicks to the ribs in history.
Was he actually aiming for I thought he was like aiming for like the leg or something because he did not reach the ribs.
No idea, but it doesn't even matter. Here comes Stone Cold Steve Austin, who beats the shit out of Eric Bischoff.
He's had enough.
Stuns Ramses, stuns Randy Orton, bounces all the way into the ropes, fighting all the way up the ramp, and importantly, crucially, he takes Eric Bischoff underneath the Titantron so that he can't see what's coming next. As Batista runs down from the crowd, delivers a Batista bomb.
Nasty Batista bomb.
To Shawn Michaels, who lays in a pool of his own blood.
And then you get one of the best JR calls ever.
Yes.
When he just starts screaming.
Damn it! No! Don't let it be this way! Kick out!
All while the ref's counting and you just hear, kick out!
Not to be
Shawn.
Randy Orton in one of his first of many Survivor Series moments, as he is sole survivor in a 5-star match, in my humble opinion.
This was a perfect match.
And Shawn Michaels lives up to the Heartbreak Kid name.
Yep.
My God.
This was the perfect match. now because of the revelation that you told me that Eric Bischoff was actually aiming for the ribs.
Mm.
Aside from that, because he hit like Sean's ankle or some shit. Just
not very good.
But this was a perfect match. All joking aside, this was an amazing match.
Yes.
And if ever anyone for some reason has any doubts about Shawn Michaels, this is one of those matches where you're like, here, watch this.
He puts on an incredible 10 minutes of just pure drama, pure emotion. And yeah, the Heartbreak Kid name, like nobody better could have been in that position to put that through. Austin comes in, he grabs hold of Michaels, and Michaels is just, he looks up at him and he's like, I'm sorry. And then he pulls him up. Austin pulls him up. He's like, hey, no. And he's like, I'm sorry, I let you down. And I'm like, oh.
To be honest, the whole time he was doing that, I thought Stone Cold was going to turn for some reason. Stone Cold was like looking at him like, you piece of shit. And then like after a while, he's like, oh, never mind. Come over here, buddy.
He walks him out up the aisle. There you go. Austin's career is over, quote unquote. He comes down, says a couple of words, gets interrupted by Coachman and a group of security. I'm going to gloss over this because this is very inconsequential. He beats up the security. He drops the coach. He cracks some beers, puts them on the ring, and then there you go. Fantastic. Where you go. Big bang, boom. Austin says goodbye for about 4 weeks.
Listen, I love that every wrestler has like, most wrestlers just put their boots in the middle of the ring. If you have a special gimmick, you'll put whatever the special gimmick is. I love that his was just a beer, like his Stone Cold beer.
Yeah,
let him get out of here.
He comes back in 4 weeks.
Of course, wrestlers don't retire. Wrestlers never retire.
He comes back as Sheriff Austin.
Maybe this one should have retired. Maybe this one should have stayed retired.
There you go. And here we are. It is time for Buried Alive match as we get the video package for the ages.
There's nothing more that I want right now in my life than to be the 5-time WWE champion. But you see, that's never going to happen as long as Vince is around.
The Undertaker is going to grab that biker chain. He got it. The title hangs in the balance. Wait a minute. It's Mr. McMahon. The hell is Mr. McMahon? Where the hell did he come from? Is Lesnar the champion has the chain? Lesnar retains the title.
The words came out of Vince's mouth.
Because as long as I'm breathing in and breathing out, you'll never be the WWE champion. Never.
Well, I guess it's time that he stops breathing in and out.
Never. Day of reckoning is coming at Survivor Series. I only ask for your understanding and forgiveness for what I'm about to do. I've been chosen to slaughter the infidel, to bury the Undertaker alive.
On Survivor Series night, I will have worked for this company for 13 years. And in those 13 years, Vince McMahon has screwed with me professionally and personally.
I must follow the light.
There comes a time where you have to be held accountable for your actions, even if your name is Vince McMahon.
Buried Alive, McMahon versus Undertaker.
We're finally here.
We go. Yes.
This is our main event.
This is our main event. The culmination of the McMenace angle.
There's one more match, but this is our
This is ours. This is what we came to see. As Vince McMahon comes out holding his hands in prayer.
He's a humble man.
He is.
He's a humble man.
Says, I've got higher power. The higher power is looking down upon my balls.
And when they're both in the ring and they're facing off against each other, he comes humble towards Undertaker.
Yeah. He kneels in prayer first.
He's like, do you want to be in this moment with me?
Yeah,
You know?
because I am protected.
Yeah.
All right, I have been summoned to slaughter the infidel.
Not sure if that was in the Bible, but maybe.
I mean,
He's the one praying. I don't know.
Old Testament God is very vengeful, from what I've heard.
There might be a line.
He's a bit of a dickhead, if we're honest. Just gonna throw that out
Listen, man, he was not a nice guy.
there. No,
Or-
apparently not.
No.
All-seeing being
Listen.
made his Earth and universe in 7 days, and was just like, I can be a dick from now on.
The hard part's done.
Fantastic. Who's gonna come at me? I made your world, fucker.
If anything, he probably loves Vince.
Mhm.
Vince is like his ideal human. He's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
why aren't all of you like Vince?
Exactly.
This man.
Yeah. First punch busts Vince open.
Immediately.
Mhm. Undertaker proceeds to mug Vince McMahon the whole match. I mean, you can't really call it for too much. He gets pulled into the ring post by the
listen,
beans.
if you guys want the play-by-play, I can give it to you.
Mm.
Punch,
Mm-hmm.
kick,
Yeah.
throw,
Punching.
punch some more,
Mm-hmm.
a couple more punches.
Choking.
Can't forget the choking.
Yeah.
You know, a couple more slams.
Blood.
A lot of blood.
Blood.
A lot of blood.
Which is sad because they just changed out the mat for the Shawn Michaels match, and then it was covered in more blood.
Well, because Shawn Michaels bled so much, and Vince is bleeding like
Even worse,
So it's like
honestly, arguably.
if you put both of those blood together, it's gonna look like a fucking murder scene
Eh.
there.
Honestly, I mean, absolute filth. But yeah, he takes him to town for a solid 10 minutes. Vince McMahon gets no offense whatsoever. He doesn't land a single punch. He gets just absolutely destroyed. And then Michael Cole feels the need to bring up again that Vince wanted to have his wife raped. Not needed in this bloodbath.
Yeah, because then he follows that up because Undertaker's still, beating the shit out of Vince, and he follows that up with being like, "Yeah, this is deserving. Undertaker's doing it for his kids,
That's right.
for his family,
Mhm.
and that's cool." But in kayfabe,
Mhm.
Undertaker doesn't have Kane is his only family.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, but I mean, since he's become the biker,
Oh.
we've got a wife. She's tattooed on the neck. Who's Sarah?
Oh my God.
So you've got to, they've humanized him a bit. Yeah, but here we go. Undertaker has beaten up Vince McMahon considerably. He walks up, grabs a shovel from the grave, walks all the way back down, and then hits Vince McMahon in the face with this. Makes a horrifying sound.
And this is the part where, because he goes up there, gets the shovel, comes down, hits Vince with the shovel,
Right.
picks Vince up, and walks with
That's right.
Vince to the gravesite.
Or even before that, we have to bring up the fact that Undertaker crushes Vince McMahon's foot with the steel steps.
Yeah.
And I remember this vividly because I honestly thought that wrestling was real when I was a kid when that happened. Because of the way that Vince sold it. His ankle was twitching and he's screaming, and I'm like, oh God, he just broke a man's foot. And the Undertaker, yes, then carries him while the blood is pouring off of Vince McMahon's head, leaving a trail behind him and on his arm and all of this. This is gross.
Gross, man.
And then here we go, some dirt by Vince McMahon into the eyes.
And this is a funny moment. This is a story from just John's childhood.
Oh,
Because this match was like, anyone who's watched this podcast or listened to this podcast since
Listen
the
to it.
first
it's an
episode
audio. Yeah.
knows I had an Undertaker DVD with just a bunch of Undertaker
That's right.
matches.
Yes.
This was one of the matches in the DVD.
Mm.
My parents didn't let me watch the first half of this match for obvious reasons.
Mhm.
So I always watch this match starting from right here.
2 minutes left. Wow.
I always thought this match was 2 fucking minutes. Because they would always put the match and Taker just has a bloody Vince on his shoulders. and he's walking up the ramp with him, and he throws him down, and then sand in Taker's face.
Yeah.
This was all I know.
Wow.
Because they saw all the blood, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not watching this part. You know,
No.
that's cool. That's cool.
It's probably for the best.
Sand in his eyes. Watch that. Watch
Yeah.
that. Watch from there."
Then a low blow takes place, and then a shovel to the face by Vince McMahon to the Undertaker. Undertaker's in the grave.
Yeah, it sends Taker flying backwards like a cartoon character.
Now, once again, have to bring it up very much like for Kane. This is probably too much offense, and he should never go in the grave. This is unacceptable.
Oh my god.
But here we go. Vince drops the shovel into the grave at the same time as the Undertaker goes in. He tries to grab the shovel. Undertaker gets up, pulls him in. He's in the grave. Undertaker goes out. He goes to the big digger that's there. Goes to open up the door, and boom! Explosion. And that's gotta be Kane!
That was Kane.
Yes. Kane puts the Undertaker in the grave, pulls out Vince McMahon, tells Vince to go over there, get in the digger. And sure enough, the Undertaker is buried alive thanks to Kane.
Listen, this is one of those matches that they're never gonna book properly because there can only be one loser.
Right.
It's always gonna be Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I didn't fuck with the ending like that. I didn't like the ending like that.
Right.
Because you're building up this. I guess it's in character for Vince to cheat his way out of it.
Right.
But I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the ending.
Well, I'm going to have you save that talk till the very end when we give us our final thoughts. Because it's main event time for the World Heavyweight title as Goldberg defends against Triple H.
And this was one of my beefs with this pay-per-view, is that the structure of it is all over the fucking place. Like, this pay-per-view does not make any fucking sense.
Well,
like, you start off with the Survivor Series match. There's a women's match. There's an ambulance match. A buried alive match. Another Survivor Series match. And then they're like, oh yeah, here's a one-on-one match with Triple H and Goldberg. It's like, I don't care about this anymore.
Hey, listen.
Like, I'm all out.
Triple H ain't going on, anywhere other than last, brother.
Jeez. Because, I was watching the pay-per-view, and after the Buried Alive match, I was legit like, I have no more energy. like I was watching it, and I'm like, you guys picked the worst two people to end this pay-per-view.
Yes, indeed, and it shows as Triple H is coming out. He still looks like his cock is hurting.
Yeah, he has the short shorts on.
Yeah, he's got the bicycle shorts on still. So his cock still hurting. And here comes Gillianberg.
And it's all fair because Goldberg.
I gotcha.
Goldberg has a fucked up leg. So, fucked up leg versus fucked up groin. What body part do you need more?
Yes.
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out. Apparently, both in order to have a good match. So
we're all losers here, I guess.
Yeah. So in the interest of sharing the load, Just John,
God,
do me the honor of taking me through this incredible contest. As the spokesperson of the Raw Rebound, I feel it only fitting that you close us off.
Jesus. Listen, the only reason Raw got better this last week was because Triple H wasn't there. And this is
back
the main
with a vengeance,
reason.
baby.
Fucking hell. But it says a lot that Trips is gone for a couple weeks and SmackDown takes the lead. So maybe he is deserving of this main event spot.
Yeah, maybe.
So Goldberg jumps Triple H at the start. And immediately spears the fuck out of fucking Triple H.
Yes.
And that's when I had like a little bit of hope that I'm like,
maybe this match will go 2 minutes and it'll be fine.
No. I'm like, maybe they're cooking something up. Spear early on. Maybe there's something going on.
Yeah.
but there wasn't.
Well, there's nothing better than a double-digit main event with 2 hurting people.
And the old man
Yeah.
as the
It's a recipe for good things.
yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna. I know I've had some crazy takes before on this podcast.
Many.
This was a this was a terrible main event.
It was.
It was clunky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was some fighting on the outside. You know, Goldberg, because he's a freak of nature, got to do some things, and it was going fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was going decent.
Yes.
And then Triple H started attacking Goldberg's leg,
Yes.
and the match just took a nosedive.
It
Because
did,
I am
yeah.
not kidding you. For like the next couple minutes, how long did this match take? It went 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that was just Triple H working the leg of Goldberg.
Pretty sure it was like 6 minutes. 6 minutes of leg work.
It was all leg, like this.
Because he goes,
Oh my god!
because he goes for a press slam, does Goldberg, and then his leg kind of gives out on him, and then Triple H just goes to town, and
Listen.
he's not got like the most innovative of offense.
That's what I was just gonna get into. Like,
Yeah.
there's a thing like you can work a body part.
Yeah.
We've
Zack
seen-
Sabre Jr. and Daniel Bryan, baby.
Ric Flair in his heyday,
Mm-hmm.
Bret Hart when he was doing his thing.
Certainly.
Like, you can do a match just targeting one body part, and
And it's dynamic, yes.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's one-sided,
Mm-hmm.
because Goldberg doesn't get that much offense in that period of time.
No.
So when it's one-sided, and when you have Triple H, whose moveset is like maybe 10 moves,
Mm-hmm.
and out of all of them, like maybe 2 of them are leg-related moves. So it's just 6 minutes of Triple H like elbow drop to the leg,
That's right. Yeah.
smashing the leg on the fucking announce table. I don't
Mhm.
like
And the pose. Yeah.
dropping the leg. Like, it's just 6 minutes of just the most intimate. And Ric Flair is right there. Ric Flair could have been like, hey, you can take some of my. No. Simple ass moves. There was a point where he looks at Ric Flair and he's like, I'm gonna do the figure 4, and Ric Flair's like, go for it. And he does a figure 4. I guess that's
There's your highlight.
listen.
Yeah.
There's not much there's not fucking much to say. It was listen. In small doses it would have been great.
Mhm.
But there wasn't much here for it. Ric Flair gets involved near the end a little bit. There was a funny moment where he does like a chop to Goldberg, and Goldberg's like, "Look at the size of my chest. Come on, you're 95. Look at the
Nothing's
size of my chest."
Nothing's happening here.
And Flair takes his jacket off, and he's like, "Okay, you want to play?"
Boom.
Limp wrist, another fucking
No.
chop.
It's not great.
Oh my god! And Goldberg just fucking yeets him out the fucking ring. Goldberg uses a sledgehammer to hit Flair in the gut.
Mhm.
Batista comes in
Yes.
because this is the Batista show for some reason.
That's right.
He takes a sledgehammer as well.
Batista Mania.
Orton comes in. It's the
It's
whole
Orton
brigade.
Mania.
It's the whole brigade. They come in,
Mhm.
fucking spear by Goldberg. Boom. He's out of there.
It was jackhammer time.
Jackhammer.
And
Goldberg
we've gotta win.
retains.
This match was boring. This was such a boring match and such a limp dick finish. Yeah.
Listen, they tried to save it at the end with the involvement, but Triple H just isn't Vince. He doesn't have the same level of chaos as Vince.
Yeah, he doesn't. Because they don't. Yeah, like he doesn't build up the match properly, like with the heat. The heat is not heat. It's just working over a part.
Exactly.
And I don't understand why you wouldn't just make this match 5 minutes long, maybe?
If you know neither
If
man
that-
can go.
Yeah, and it like if you had like Triple H get speared right away, Ric Flair comes in, shenanigans. He
Mhm.
dispatches of Ric Flair. Triple H like tries to chop the leg and then immediately pedigree kick out. Oh God! Like tries to Ric Flair's like, hey fucking, and then the hammer. Here comes Evolution. He ditch
Mhm.
matches everybody. Spear, jackhammer, done.
That would have been way better than what the fuck we got.
Yeah, like just a chaos, Like everything is breaking down immediately.
Like neither of these men can go. Let's just go pure chaos. Fuck it. Let's just go pure.
Yeah.
But the fact that they wanted to have like this fucking wrestling match, like hold for hold.
No.
And even if the leg injury came like you said, like strategically, like maybe Ric Flair does something and then he's like, okay, might as well take advantage of this. But because it happened like just randomly, where he was picking Triple H up and he's like, oh fuck my leg, and he's like, well, might as well take advantage of this. I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe there's someone in the universe that was like, hey, you guys are missing X, Y, and Z. I didn't see what could I possibly have missed. It was badly played. It was a bad main event. It was badly placed on the card.
Absolutely.
Because how are you going to follow up all the chaos that you just showed us and give us this main event?
Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know, it was a little ridiculous. As the main event, and it's just, and to be honest, like every single time, without fail, whenever I think of Survivor Series 2003, I legitimately forget that this match is on it.
Of course you would.
Legitimately forget that this match is on it.
Because, listen, take this match out of it. Take this match out of the equation. This is an amazing pay-per-view.
Extraordinary show. Yes.
From start to finish. Even the first Survivor Series match, which was rushed a little bit.
Still exciting.
Yeah. And the people that they eliminated first, you know, we weren't gonna miss them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a really good match. Molly Holly versus Lita was probably the longest women's match we reviewed this season.
Yeah, this season, yeah, for sure.
Kane, Shane McMahon, amazing match. The Bashams, they're the fucking Bashams. They're gonna do what they do. Survivor Series, Buried Alive, like this is an amazing pay-per-view, but then you have to add that one fucking spot.
They killed it. But there we have it. That is the end of the show, and so now it is time for our final talk, of which we wrap up the McMenace angle. Our final roundup, in which we will discuss how we feel about the McMenace angle as a whole. Was it worth the final match payoff? Because going from here, Vince McMahon would linger on SmackDown for a little bit longer, but then eventually would just fizzle away, leave it to just Paul Heyman as the authority figure. And so Undertaker as well would be off throughout the rest of the winter and
he's been
would
murdered.
return at WrestleMania as the Dead Man to go against Kane. So really, in terms of comeuppance and everything like that, kind of fizzles away. So was the final match worth the payoff, as well as we're going to have the season standout star, the most disappointing person of the season, or disappointing aspect of the season, whether or not, the underrated superstar of the season, and then, of course, our overall thoughts on the final show itself. So first, Just John, how was the McMenace angle to you? Was it entertaining? Was it boring? Where was it? Was it in the middle?
I really enjoyed it, seeing Vince at his peak, or one of his peaks, because he's been around for so long. Was really, really entertaining, just seeing how batshit crazy he could get. I'm in a weird spot because I like the stipulation of the match. I love the match as like an end to the storyline, just because it kind of shows just how crazy this storyline got to the point where we went from Vince's GM to Vince is fighting Undertaker in a Buried Alive match on the same card as his son fighting Kane in an ambulance match. So it's I like it because it keeps on with the Vince is a lunatic storyline.
That's right.
But I'm torn because I didn't like the ending, because again, like you said, no one ends up being I guess Vince ends up being the winner, but that's not what everyone wanted.
Yes.
People wanted to see Vince lose, and fair, he got beat up for most of the match, but that doesn't count. That's not the same. That's not the same. So I liked the stipulation. I liked the whole storyline. I just didn't like the ending. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So then that would answer the next question. So was all of it, all that he did between Hogan, Stephanie,
1,000.
Gowan,
1,000%.
was it worth the payoff?
1,000%.
You say yes. All right.
This has been the weirdest season we've had.
It has. It
From
has.
him fighting a one-legged man to
Mhm.
that uncomfortable Stephanie match.
That's right.
I'm still kind of upset we
Old
didn't get to
Hulk Hogan,
see what
Mr.
happened
America.
with Mr. America and all that
Mhm.
stuff, but hey, it still worked out in the end.
All
It still
right.
worked out in the end.
Very good. Well, sir, I'm going to give it to you. Give me rapid fire, standout star, disappointment of the season, underrated star of the season. Who do you have?
So standout star of the season, I have Brock Lesnar. That's my
Brock
guy.
Lesnar.
That's my guy. I think I've liked all his matches in this little bit. I can't remember if I think I disliked one maybe.
Mhm.
So I have him as my standout star for the season. Disappointment for the season goes without saying. Big Trips, Triple H. I was excited to see this era Triple H because this was the era where he was just on TV all the fucking time.
Yes.
And as you can see from the Raw rebounds, especially the one that I just didn't bother. His title reign was not great.
Not
Was
much
not
to
great.
be desired.
So I was kind of disappointed in that because I like Triple H. For most part, it's just this run just wasn't doing it for me. And underrated star, I'm gonna give it to John Cena.
You're giving it to Cena.
Yeah, he's kind of held it down for
right.
most of the pay-per-views. He's kind of been one of those guys. So I'm gonna give it to him.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
No,
good.
give it to me, buddy. What's on your list?
Well, first and foremost, the McMenace storyline
Yes, was
is
it worth it?
near and dear to my heart. For as batshit crazy as it was, and it's interesting because going back and looking at it, especially when we think about the Vince McMahon that we have now and what he's done and been going through now, and how he looks like a Telemundo mob boss now. And all of his terribleness with the allegations and the TKO thing and being ousted from power and sneaking his way back in and
Just kicked out again.
yeah, absolutely. Like just this succubus-like energy. Going back here and just having it with those types of eyes and being like, how did we ever like this man?
How did we get this far?
Yes. But legitimately watching his angles, his matches, and seeing he legitimately had lightning in a bottle. Like he just had it. He had this mind and psychology to craft a match or to craft an angle to get the most amount of drama.
And what I like about him, sorry to cut you off, is that he's one of those guys that if he has to take a beating, he'll take a beating.
Yeah, he'll do it.
As long as it's good TV.
Yeah. And he did it in spades many times over, and it's kind of fascinating just to see that he's still able to kind of just click with the audience and get them to like really be like, oh God, no way is this man gonna win? And then like people will get the heat on him and it's like, good God, yes. Yes. Like I think back the match with Vince and Steph, as uncomfortable as that was, anytime Stephanie McMahon got offense, the crowd was lightning hot.
Yep.
One of the best matches of WrestleMania 19, Hogan and Vince McMahon. I don't care what anybody says. That was sports entertainment craziness. And yeah, I think the only, and I'm going to agree with you here, the only real down point was the finale.
Yeah.
And the fact that even though he did get his ass whipped throughout the entire match, he still technically wins. Undertaker still gets buried. And then it fizzles away. Like Vince fizzles out from here. He does not get a definitive like 1, 2, 3 beating. That type of deal. That just doesn't happen. He just
no Steph coming out,
No.
kicking him in the balls or something. Like something to make this like,
Yeah, I think they tried to craft the story where it's like, well, I'll get no offense and I'll get killed, and that's what the fans want to see, and I'll get myrtleized, but yeah, you still feel a little empty, and so for that, it was not worth the payoff. But I think the journey in this case was better than the destination, and I think that's one of the situations here.
Yep.
Um,
It's like when your favorite wrestler wins the title and then you realize that he probably shouldn't be
Right.
the champ.
Yeah. Right, the chase is better than the actual goal here.
Yeah.
As for my standout star of the season, I'm actually going to give it to John Cena, because much like I did for DDP with WCW, witnessing that character growth, witnessing the growth, and I never thought I would say this about John Cena. As somebody who I thoroughly disliked all throughout, and I'm still not a big fan now. I'm just not hating him as much as I did when I was a kid. But to look back and to see how clunky he was at the beginning of the season, when we saw him for the first time in that 6-man tag, and how big-footed he was and just clunky.
I remember you saying that.
First thing I noticed. And to just watch that progression, and again, that Undertaker-Cena match that really turned the tide for him. And I'm glad that I remembered that as vividly as I did, and that wasn't hyperbole, that was a game changer for him and led him on the path to eventually be the megastar that he is. But he managed to progress quite steadily.
And quickly, too.
Over the course of this little storyline. So that was very exciting. The most disappointing of the season, and it's tough. I'm very torn about this. Very torn about this.
Let's hear it.
It's Kane.
Okay, explain.
I think the rose-tinted goggles were a bit too shiny for me. Because the week-to-week television, I did go back and I did watch a little bit of Monday Night Raw, watched a little bit of Kane there. And the week-to-week television I thought was superb booking for Kane. I thought he was always great. Main event segments, the unmasking was good. The follow-up was good. Yeah, even the stuff with Shane week to week, there were some misses, but mainly we were talking a lot of hits, all that stuff. I thought the character work of Kane was fantastic, but when the bell rang, I think where that was things started to fall apart. I think with Rob Van Dam, it was kind of like an average match, wasn't much to it.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up with Shane McMahon, who again, just a little too much offense for my liking for the big bad on campus, especially because next month at Armageddon, he's challenging for the world title.
Oh, shit.
So it's like,
How do you take the guy that Shane
took to the limit,
yeah,
and then put him in even with the rehabilitation of being able to bury the Undertaker alive, but it's like whatever. And even before that, honestly, with like at No Way Out with the tag match, and it was kind of a nothing match there. He wasn't on the WrestleMania card, to my recollection. He was on the pre-show, so it's kind of just like the week-to-week television, Raw, he really did it, but we were reviewing pay-per-views, and at the pay-per-views,
he wasn't
lackluster at best. So as much as I love Kane, and I loved this version of Kane and the unmasking, and how much as a kid this man legitimately scared the shit out of me, he was a bit of a disappointment. I expected more. I was looking to be like, it's Kane, yay.
Yeah.
Didn't really happen for me, and so that crushed my soul.
That's fair. That's a good one.
Yes, and the underrated star of the season, and a little bit controversial because you can't really call him necessarily underrated, but in the span of moving up the ladder, he didn't do like a John Cena. He stayed in the mid-card for a majority, but still performed fantastic. Eddie Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, a man that elevated the U.S. Championship with that 5-star match with Benoit. Then he does pretty good business with Big Show.
Mhm.
Did a good Fatal 4-Way at the SummerSlam. He ends off here with a little lackluster tag match, but he's got a story that leads him right in to WrestleMania, where he becomes champion in No Way Out and then defends at Mania. It's a fantastic little story for him, but he's always a guy that was in the mid card throughout this season of the pod, but always consistent.
Yeah.
So, you gotta love him. He's underrated for me. I think he should have been doing more by the point that we are ending off here. I think he should have probably have been in that Kurt Angle team.
He should. Yeah, that's a good point.
I would have replaced Bradshaw, would have put Eddie Guerrero right in there.
Yeah, that makes a lot more. And didn't they tag in one of the pay-per-views we reviewed
I
already?
believe so,
Yeah.
yes. So I think that's a missed opportunity there. I understand that they had the story going.
Because
But-
if anything, you can take Hardcore Holly and Bradshaw out and put both Chavo and Eddie in,
Could have done
and
it.
that kind of continues their whole
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, but I would have continued his singles momentum off of the U.S. title. Would have kept going a little bit of string with the Big Show, seeing as he just lost No Mercy to him. Would have been a good follow-up. But anyway, that's how it was. So, the overall show itself, we have the standout star for the show.
Yep.
We have the match of the night. We have the show winner, as always, and the final show grade. Just John, who is your standout star?
Standout star, Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely.
Love that performance by him. Not much to say there.
Yep.
Incredible.
Mhm.
Match of the night, Team Austin versus Team Bischoff.
Mhm.
Great match.
Yep.
Overall show grade,
Mhm.
4.5 out of 5.
Nearly flawless, eh?
Nearly flawless. My
Mhm.
only problem is that the pay-per-view was a little all over the place.
Mm.
But other than that, perfect pay-per-view.
Mhm.
This is one of those ones where, aside from the main event, if someone put this pay-per-view on, I would probably watch the whole thing
Mhm.
all over
Yes.
again.
Yes.
And then for the winning show, I have Raw taking it.
Ah, very good, very good. Well, we are going to be very similar in our stuff, but in switching out as much as I want to give it to Shawn Michaels, I did want to look at other people on the show and
Mhm.
give them a little bit of love, and I'm actually going to give it to Randy Orton tonight. I felt that Randy Orton held up his end of the bargain quite well.
Yeah.
He had his little bit with Mark Cuban to get some heat. Then he had his little backstage segment, which you liked, but whatever.
Great backstage.
But then I found this to be, as much as this is a shining beacon for Shawn Michaels, that match, I also feel that this was a great moment for Randy Orton.
Mhm.
And this put the shine on him real nice.
Yeah. He looked like $1 million.
As a sole survivor, the guy that lasts throughout everybody in that ring,
Mhm.
the guy that gets the pin. This was really, really effective.
He shows up again in the main event too.
Exactly.
So
So this is really, really effective in getting Randy Orton into that upper mid-card level
Mhm.
and start with the dancing, the flirtation of the main event run. I really liked it. So, my match of the night, though, obviously, Team Austin versus Team Bischoff, no doubt about it. As for my show winner, it is Raw as well. And for the final show grade, I've knocked just a little bit below you, but a 4-star, nevertheless, fantastic show. Besides the Bashams and Guerreros in the main event, bringing us down. And I also wished that the opening match had a bit more time. So,
Yeah.
along with agreeing with you fully about the structuring issue as well, there was enough to get me very entertained. The good outweighed the bad for sure, but
The
just
bad is
those
still
little,
there.
the bad is still there, and just those little tweaks probably would have been a 5-star show. But be that as it may, fantastic, and that leads to culminating our season of the pod. 41 episodes
That is it.
down. We are done with the season. We have done it. And here we are.
Here we are. Next season,
Mm.
We got some special surprises for you, so stay tuned. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter.
Yes,
At
indeed.
the Colossal Tussle One. We're gonna make sure to keep you guys up to date with everything happening. All the information for the next season is gonna be on there.
For sure.
So make sure you guys follow and interact with us. You know, we're always on there, so send us a little message or whatever, and we'll get to you guys.
As well as thank you very much for joining us. For next time, we will be diving right back in to 1985, to the nostalgia of Saturday night's main event. I am so excited.
We're keeping up with tradition.
Oh.
The beginning of every new season. Saturday Night Main Event.
And that is where we will reveal what we are going to be covering next season. So be sure to tune in for that. And of course, Saturday night's main event is always one of our most fun podcasts we do.
It is.
So it is must listen. If you haven't, go back and check out the Saturday night's main events previous so that you are caught up for, I believe, it is the end of the year edition of Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
So you can follow us all sorts of places, and you can find this podcast everywhere. Spotify, iTunes.
Stitcher's still around, I think.
No,
It's done?
it's not.
It's finally
It's
done?
gone, yes.
Okay, Stitcher's
So
out of there.
we've got the Amazon. We've got the Audible. We've got Google Podcasts. We are everywhere and anywhere.
Just type in the Colossal Tussle on your phone,
Indeed.
and something's going to pop up.
Yes.
We're going to be on there.
Indeed. And if you could please do us the blessing of a lifetime with a like, a share, and a subscribe if you are watching on YouTube as well. And just get us out there. We are currently growing in podcasts. We are currently growing up on Spotify. We are being suggested now to a bunch of different other people, so we're getting the exposure. We've just broken into Brazil, if you can believe.
Listen, shout out to all my Brazilians.
Brazil,
Shout out to all my Brazilians.
where we unfortunately talked about Toe Sucking Tony, and that's the first episode that they got to listen to. But but that is neither here nor there.
You have to mention this. Jesus Christ.
Well,
Toe Sucking Tony.
Toe Sucking Tony. We love us some Toe Sucking Tony. But yes, by liking, by sharing, and by just telling your friends, hey, give us a listen. And then we continue to boost. We continue to gain some exposure and some revenue.
Also, certain platforms like Apple and Spotify do have the polls and have like little feedback sections. So make sure you engage with us there. It helps us out a lot.
Absolutely.
Also on YouTube, I know that the YouTube gang's growing. Every day I see a lot more views on the YouTube.
Hey.
So make sure you guys are liking and leaving your comments as well.
Absolutely. You can find us all sorts of places. But until next time, hold on just a minute. If you wish to sponsor the podcast, then you can send us an email at colossaltusslepod@gmail.com. That is colossaltusslepod@gmail.com. We will sell anything. We will shill anything. Please, God, just send us a message. We'll be funny. We'll make it funny. Don't you even worry about it. You just let us know. Let us discuss. Please, God, we're so broke. We need the money. I'm going on vacation. I have no money. Please, God, help us. Help us, please. That is the type of begging that you could look forward to. With a sponsorship at colossaltusslepod@gmail.com if you wish to sponsor the podcast. We thank you very much for joining us for this season. We have had a blast and we are excited for the next one. And we will catch you down the road. For Junkyard John, I am KJ Downtown Bruno, and we are out.